What's going on, folks? Elijah here, riding the Mongoose Dolomite. One of the best ways to get around Los Angeles, at least for short trips. I think that's a pretty decent range on it. Come on, dude, you slowing bicycles down? Luckily, at least right here is a bicycle lane, which is very nice. Unfortunately, because of poor choices by one of the city council districts on my way home from work, only part of this road here, Westwood Boulevard, has a bike lane on it. And so once I get down past Santa Monica here, I'll actually have to take the whole lane of traffic for myself because I'm a selfish bicyclist. Which is legal if there is not a parking lane on that street, or if there is a parking lane. Thank you. If it has cars in it, you have a duty to avoid those cars as obstacles. You don't have to go dipping in and out of traffic in order to ride your bicycle. It's insane anyways. But they could solve that by redesigning the road and putting a bicycle lane in, which helps keep bicyclists and vehicle traffic separate. Though I will say, Los Angeles has been putting a lot more bicycle lanes in general over the last years, but unfortunately there is a very big lack of north and south bicycle lanes. You can find bicycle lanes all day long to and from the beach, east and west, but you cannot get a bicycle lane going north and south, going the whole way somewhere. Unfortunately, because it's been left up to bad politics or people that are, they get mad, of course, when they got to share the lane with a bicycle, but they don't want to put a bicycle lane in order to keep people separate and safe and keep traffic flowing. This thing, it makes pretty good speed. I actually wear my motorcycle hoodie and my motorcycle helmet on this bicycle. Because it does go pretty fast. If I really get on it and actually try, I can probably get up to probably about 35 miles an hour on a good day with a full charge. But it's nice to have a little juice. It does make it a little easier to ride and kind of, I guess, safer if you got to get out of the way using the power out. But obviously, it can also get you in a little more trouble. I did have to add a powered brake to the front of the bike because it did increase the weight of this bicycle quite significantly. I want to say it weighs a good 80 pounds with the motor and battery on it. Glad I didn't get a bigger battery or put two motors on it because I wouldn't be able to take it up and down the stairs from my apartment on the second floor. And I definitely did have to start lifting some weights to be able to lug this thing around because it is a heavier vehicle. And you will have to deal with the heaviness of it. That's why I had to put a powered front brake in here. I got the hydraulic brake on the front simply because without it, it was just too heavy to stop even on flat streets. And going downhill, you're just not even going to be able to stop. So if you're out there DIYing one of these yourself, please take heed. You should add a powered brake to the front at least. I couldn't find a brake handle or a brake lever that had a switch in it like this one needs to cut the engine, so I had to leave the one on the back on there, just a regular unpowered disc brake, but it just allows me to cut the motor when I need to. It's one thing I like about having some motorcycle training is that it kind of got me ready for the discipline to be able to do that every time I stop or need to cut the motor because something's happening up ahead or whatever. But it's one of these things, man, and it has this real cool, maybe it doesn't have an exhaust like a motorcycle, but it does have a really, really cool sound of the tire because it's so big, rolling down the road, and it just has this cool whining tire, rubber on the road sound to it that I just really enjoy on this bicycle. It does pick up nails and metal like a pin cushion, unfortunately, though you can run over like bottles and stuff like that on this thing, and you can go off a little off-road. So, it's kind of nice to be able to do that. Unfortunately, it just picks up nails left and right. So I do try to make sure I carry an inner tube, though I think I forgot my inner tube today while I'm on it. And I guess my only real complaint is that I couldn't find any forks for this bicycle that were not dropout forks for the front, which would be really nice because I did have it, the wheel come out after my first test build of it. Because people are like, oh, you can take these off road, but if you can't really go over a solid obstacle like a curb powered without the wheel coming off, I would not rate it as a good off-road vehicle. Though you can do loose surfaces, I think are kind of more what it's made for, like gravel, and I think we see people do them in this. They get them out in the snow and whatnot. So I was able to get the battery from a place up in Chino. It was here in the States. I did get the motor kit off of Amazon, and I got the motor and the controller together. I will say it was way more powerful than I expected it to be. I was actually thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get. Of course, I got the 1,000-watt motor, and I figured, oh, it ain't gonna be that powerful. I used to have 1,000-watt amp, it wasn't that bad. In my sound system in my old car. But if you're looking to just get an extra boost, like help you out on hills, a 1,000-watt motor is actually way, way, way too much for that purpose. So that's just a one word of warning to you. For those looking to build one of these themselves, if you just want an extra little boost, get the 250, because this is basically an electric vehicle. You can put it on the throttle control, but I opted not to do that. I put it on the pedal controller, so that way when you pedal the bike, it does cause the motor to engage, which pulls you forward. I like having a front wheel drive to it. It's kind of interesting because if I really want to get on it and like going up this hill, I'll probably need to give it a little extra. But this thing, it climbs. It climbs really good. Has a good amount of torque. All the little kids love it. Like, oh, adults love it. People just tell me all the time, like, oh, dude, that's a cool bike. And mainly it's because it's got the big tires, which. I went with the big tires just because this was my first brand new bicycle since I was a little kid. All other bicycles I've had as an adult are all been used and all toe up, patched together constructions. So it was really nice to have a bicycle that was brand new and something different than what I had. Growing up, I've been seeing these fat tires, so. The Mongoose Dolomite, it was a good price on Amazon. It had 5 payments things. So I just made like $5 $50 payments for it. Got myself a motor, and once I got myself in shape enough to ride, I was riding this to work, so got myself in shape. You definitely need a motor for hills like the one I'm about to go over on this bike, because it is only a 7-speed, and I couldn't even do this hill before without the motor. This is my only obstacle for me to get to work. Though obviously, one cool thing about the e-bike is that you can throw it on the train, and I guess obviously if you have a regular tire one, you can throw it on the bus too, and you can really kind of use it as a fill in the gaps in mass transit, and it can really help you get around a city like Los Angeles really efficiently. And that's just one of the things I love about this bike. It's so efficient a way to travel, especially if you want a good backup vehicle for if your car breaks down, or like in my case, my motorcycle broke down or whatever, and I got to fix it. But without having to incur the cost of an extra plated vehicle that you gotta put insurance and get registration on. And this thing just pulls down the road, man. I want to say it probably cost me about around $750 to do this build, which it's, if you look at the other fat tires out there on the market, you're going to save some money. I want to say you're going to pay at least $1,000 for one. You can get a regular e-bike though for like, I want to say probably about 600. It's just a regular tire bicycle. What I've seen online, with a motor and everything, battery. But that is one of the things that I wanted to do, was get a fat tire one, but it was just way too expensive for me. So once I started researching and getting a motor on this one, it made sense for me to do. So it was a good choice. Pretty straightforward construction, though I guess you may want to know a little bit about bicycle or riding, or watch some YouTubes on it. But it was pretty easy construction. Though I did need a puller for the pedal, to get the pedal off, so I could put the pedal sensor on there. But it just so happened I had a motorcycle puller that fit right in there, so it actually came in handy to have the motorcycle puller on my brake pipe, my pedal on this bike. I pretty much got this bike set up like I want. But one of the things I would want to do here is get a front shock fork for it, because it is a little rough on the bumps. So the big tires do take a lot of the shock for you, but you still feel a lot up top, especially if you're going at full speed. Well, that's all for today, guys. Hope you guys having a good Tuesday out there. It's actually a very stress-free way to get to and from work, usually, in case somebody doesn't run you over. But it definitely is nice to ride a bicycle with a little power on it, because you can lose a lot of these jerks. And it's just a nice, easy, stress-free way to ride. You still get your heart rate up. That's why I put the pedal sensor activation on there. Still get your cardio in, get your heart rate up, burn some calories. It is kind of heavy, so you got to carry that mug around. So that is one of the cool things about the e-bike that I just really love. It's one of those things that at first I was like, when I took it down this bike path for its first test run, I was just like, OMG, this is an awesome vehicle. And it just has a great amount of power. Yeah, people be looking at it and just like, what the heck is that? That's cool. Like, dang straight it is. So definitely would say, get yourself an e-bike. It is the coolest shit on the block. Cheap to own. Once it's kind of a pricey introductory, but if you my motorcycle cost $2,000 brand new, and I probably spent $2,000 on it so far. Whereas this thing, other than having to buy an air tube, like which it seems like almost every time I ride it, it's just been an awesome vehicle. Just awesome. So please take care, guys. Talk to you next time. Elijah out.